Yeah, Zerotoshi. No, that absolutely happens. That absolutely happens. And here's the thing: like, you can only be so frustrated at a dev when they do that kind of stuff, because the thing is you have to remember, not every developer and not every PR company has a bottomless budget for PR. So if a PR company's goal is to get as many eyes as they can on a product, that's why a dev hires them. So if a PR company is given $10,000 to work with, and they can take that and get like a couple big streamers or a huge amount of mid-tier streamers, and they work out the math and they go, okay, we know those big streamers are probably going to play our game, but we don't know if this fleet of mid-tier streamers are going to play it. Like, it's that kind of situation where it's like, it sucks, but at the same time, it's a PR company doing its job and it's better for the devs. So it sucks, but you know, like, there are times when it just makes sense. Unfortunately. So yeah, it just does. There was a big hubbub a while back, where a very well-known competitive FPS title actually did something similar, but instead of not courting the big streamers, they basically just took every streamer that streamed their game all the time and didn't include them because they just assumed that if people were already playing it, they would still be playing it, and it was kind of a big deal. Yeah, people were not pleased about that, and I think the company got some flack for it. So thankfully we don't see it too often, but it does happen, and it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't have to be a small company. Sometimes it's just, you know, PR people trying to save money. It happens. The most unfortunate time it happens is when, in the example that I just said, like there are especially smaller and mid-tier streamers that give their streaming life to one game, and then finally, when the activations, sponsorships come around for that game, they aren't included because they play it all the time, and it's like, that was one of the reasons they were streaming that game, was for that moment. And then it just didn't, you know, it came, and that really sucks. XB side, 2 freaking years, Cohh, what a ride. So much has happened and changed and all the things. Cohh D, here's to another 2 years or more. Cohh L, Cohh Beer, cheers, bud. Thank you, B-side. Main character's looking very dapper right now. He is B-side, I agree. Have I heard of the MMO Ashes of Creation? Yes, and I really hope it's good. I really hope it's good. Yeah. When will I be revisiting Cyberpunk? The next time, the first time there's a patch that kind of adds something to the game. Be it a cosmetic system or really fixes something. Like the 1.2 patch for Cyberpunk was great. It was. And kudos to CDPR. I'm happy to see it moving in the right direction. But they're still kind of just fixing the bugs and stuff and making things work that are supposed to be working. So there's a lot of features I want to see in the game. And when one of those comes in, I'll probably jump back in for our next run. Streamers should not believe they're entitled to a sponsorship just because they play a game. You're not wrong, Isleard. You're not wrong. I mean, that's another valid point. That's another valid point. You know, there's a lot of factors that go into this kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm just saying, sometimes really good quality community members do get passed by for that kind of stuff. So it's give take. Okay, let's go. Eluden says the cop system, some big features that would bring me back to Cyberpunk. A working transmog system where I could choose how I look so I don't look like a methed out dropout from clown college. That'd be good. An actual GPS system where I could go through the city and have an idea, you know, maybe 5 feet before the turn that I'm supposed to turn there. You know, just there's so many relatively easy to implement systems, that would make the gameplay a lot more enjoyable. And I'm kind of waiting. Oh, so you don't want to roleplay yourself, Cohh? I see what you did there. Yeah, so it would be nice. A functioning cop system. They made some improvements to the cop system. They don't spawn right behind you now. Now they spawn right behind you around the corner. So, you know, I mean, it's a little better, I guess. But it's not quite where we're looking for it. You know, the big thing with the cop system was the bounty system, and like really having kind of like a living cop system. Another thing that would bring me back, if they make big improvements to the AI life, the AI life system, I think that could bring us back as well. There's all sorts of things that will trigger our Cyberpunk playthrough for our melee run. So I'm just kind of waiting to see some of that come in. The CDPR devs did make it clear they're not giving up on Cyberpunk. So that's good. That means that we will still see serious development in Cyberpunk. Which was good news. Now we just got to see what that means. You know, we just got to see what that means. But they are not just patching it and dropping it. And I've said many times that was a concern that I had. I was worried they were just going to make it work on consoles and then move on to paid content. And they have claimed that they're not doing that. But we'll see. Again, you know, it's one thing to say things, it's another thing to do them. All right, here we go. This is going to be important.
It's always good to see you.
Something in her demeanor has changed. She's tired, consigned to her fate, to being here with you and what's to come.
So at this point, we think she might be a spy. She might be a union buster. She might be... She is a lot more than she let on. I need to talk to you about your room again.
Yeah?
That door there. Did you know it leads to a downstairs elevator?
I did not. Mystery solved then. I kept wondering where it led.
There may be more to this mystery at some later time. She's holding back. Let's make a mental note for now.
There's a peephole on the other side looking into your bedroom.
A peephole? You mean like a hole in the wall?
Yes, looking into your bedroom, miss.
Okay.
There's a pause as she processes this information.
A jitter of fear and disgust moves through her body, beginning from her shoulders and ending in her hips. The cigarette tastes foul to her now.
We know that this is serious because, as we also know, hips don't lie.
Do you think this is somehow connected to me?
It could be.
Okay. Do you have any way of knowing how long it has been there?
Unfortunately, no. But if I were to guess, long enough. The perforation is under the bookshelf on your wall. It should not be hard to cover with some tape.
If it is recent, who do you think made it?
Shit. I don't know. Maybe it's been there for a long time. Maybe the local kids use it or something. I don't know.
Or Husby, I have no idea.
I'll be fucking covering it up with a lot of tape, that's for sure. Was there anything else back there?
There were tracks on the floor. They're recent.
Huh. This isn't good.
She's straight as a stick, suddenly. She feels like quarry, encircled.
Praise accepted.
Her eyes dart to the door.
Okay, first of all, Jam Trees, thank you for the 5 bomb, and that brings you up to 50 subs gifted, my dude. Thank you. Second of all, she just realized that whatever shady shit that she's doing in her room, somebody may know about it. This has nothing to do with her, like, oh man, she saw me while I was screwing someone. She's now worried that somebody saw what she's actually here for. It's an old pinball workshop. The room back there. This place used to be a pinball arcade.
Okay. I'm glad someone's had fun.
Okay.
She's lost in thought.
So we're going to keep that in
Eyes narrow.
our head for now.
Forehead furrowed.
I have some other questions.
All
Is this
right.
game any good? Yes. Yes, it is. The Hardy Boys told us what really happened.
I understand.
He puts her coffee mug on the table.
Just like that. No resistance. Her shoulders are slouched. Her feet long and straight.
You don't look surprised. You were expecting this.
I knew there was a chance you'd get them to tell you. It's what you do. You're the police. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for wasting your time.
This is good. Clear the air first, between you two. Then move on to questions. No, it's not good. It's the opposite of that. This will let her dictate the terms of your...
Yo, maybe she was sent here to kill that guy. Maybe she's an assassin. Maybe all of this is to cover up her work.
Shush, I can't hear what she's saying. Let the miss speak. She's tall and thin and tired.
Gasp!
A twig trying so hard not to...
Am I still compromised? Yes, we know we're compromised.
If you knew we would find out eventually, why did you waste our time?
Because of the Hardys. I couldn't just dispense with them. They were only trying to help me out of the shit I'd gotten into.
If that's the case, then why didn't you just say you had been raped? Because if you would have said that, it would have tied the end on the Hardy Boys story, and that would have been that. Why did you send us back to them? That's not a good enough reason.
You're right. There's more.
More?
You answer to the coalition government, and by extension, the moral intern.
She reaches for a new cigarette. Yeah, she liked the guy, but she probably killed him. Or knows who did.
Briefly glancing over her shoulder to the sea, as she's done time and time again. A grand expanse of water reaches over the bay and to the horizon, golden grey in the noonlight.
What lies beyond it?
The Pale, the Muindi Isola, the Occident, and then Aranye, the old world.
Is that why you're looking over your shoulder? You're afraid of the moral intern?
You share a database with them. You send people to their courts.
What's going on? What did you do?
Just business. But bad business for some people in the moral intern. If I show up in your records, officer, they will find me. They will...
What happens if they do?
They will kill me, sir. If you file my name, take me in for questioning, enter me into the moral intern mill, well, then I'm fucked. For nothing. This murder didn't have anything to do with me.
Go on.
Fucked. People after her. Moral intern people. This isn't Orionese lit.
You said you studied Orionese lit. What is with this fugitive stuff?
I did. I also had a side job selling insurance that I was really good at. Got picked up by a bank. Competitive intelligence, they called it. After that, I sort of, transitioned out of the whole culture scene.
Dude, I believe nothing this girl says anymore. What did you do to have these people after you?
It's not nice, but it's not illegal. Not here in Revachol, or even in Oranje.
What exactly did you do?
Industrial espionage. I joined a business collective with the intention of betraying them. I did my job well enough to be asked to do it again. With a bigger company. The kind you really, really don't fuck with. I took their ledgers, 2 decades worth of accounting.
I need the names of the companies involved and who hired you.
The job was Elysium County Savings Bank. They sound small, but they're part of the Louis-Scott conglomerate. That was the second job. The first was some printer company. You wouldn't know them.
But she really destroyed them. She still feels it.
See, this could be compromised, so we have no idea if that's right or wrong.
As to who hired me for the job, I don't know. But they're after me too. Along with Louis-Scott
Hey, Magic
and
Rat.
their friends in the MI. Once you're done in the competitive intelligence circuit, you don't have allies. You're radioactive.
Lowe's cap. These people engineer financial disasters in second world countries. The conglomerate also includes the Bank of Consecration, Airberg, and the popular Papalolo line of dairy products.
Papalolo!
Yeah. Papa fucking Lolo wants to kill me.
I'm sure there are people that have done much worse than that. She's gonna be like, yeah, and they're dead.
Sure. I'm not a war criminal, but it was bad. People lost their jobs. Good people too, not just C-suite.
Hey, Feck says, I can only say one thing. Time passes for when you have a good stream to watch. I started watching as a sub when you started on Fallout 4 and have since been back. A very, very good community time around here and great mods. Then arrived at 5 years and 9 months. Feck with the 69 months of support. Nice. Thank you so much, Feck. It's a pleasure having you here, my dude. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
A lot of people got hurt. But that's just more of my shit you shouldn't have to deal with. You're solving a murder.
That can wait. Look into her eyes. There's more.
What did you do?
One of them killed themselves because of me.
That's not easy to deal with.
How do you deal with anything? It's all just... How do you do it?
By not remembering a single goddamn thing. I'm a cop. What I do is right.
By bargaining, then. I do that too. It's not all that effective.
What happened here the night that he died?
We were there. Together. In bed, I mean.
Tell me exactly what happened.
Okay. He was in a kneeling position. He had just entered me. I was on my back, looking at him. I heard the window behind me shatter, and I turned to look. There was a hole in the glass. I turned back to him. His eyes were looking through me, and his mouth was open.
Damn, he did get sniped.
I could see. I could.
He did get sniped. Wow.
Her chest rises and falls with each word. She keeps herself together and says it.
I knew he was dead. Before he fell down on top of me.
Then what happened?
He was heavy. I pushed him off and he fell to the floor. There. He only had his boots on. I bit the pillow, not to scream, then ran downstairs.
Dude, that means that he was sniped from outside and it went into his mouth. Like, wow. See, that still doesn't make sense, though. Well, it does make sense that it was a rifle. It does make sense that it was a rifle. That makes more sense now. But the thing that's strange is we know that the bullet went in the roof of his mouth and then up into his head. So that would mean that his mouth had to be open and that his head had to be tilted back. Something still isn't adding up, man. No, he didn't get shot in the back of the head. He got shot through the top of his mouth, and they found the bullet inside his skull, so it did not go through the back of his head. The bullet stopped in his head, so it couldn't have kept going.
I waited for the second shot to come. For me. I thought there would be one. It never came.
That also means that whoever did it was like a super trained sniper.
She's forgotten about her cigarette. The butt has burned right down to her fingernails.
Your cigarette, miss.
Oh,
I'm sorry this happened to you.
so am I.
What time was this? When did it happen? It would help us if you could be as
Yeah,
precise
Vortirian,
as
we know it's an
possible.
old rifle. That makes sense. At first I thought maybe it was a pistol, and that maybe he actually like a gun was put in his mouth, because that would explain the trajectory. But since it's a rifle, we know that's like the Kurt Cobain scenario, where it's like a lot of people think that Kurt Cobain didn't commit suicide because of the shotgun and the length of it, and there's all sorts of like conspiracy theories about it. But it's weird. Yeah.
11:30 to 12:15. I don't know the exact time. Around midnight.
It's okay. Were you inebriated?
Not as much as usual. He'd done a line, plus other things. I was drinking.
No, just we're kind of off topic here, but Dark Hollow, for the record, there was a conspiracy theory that went around a long time because Kurt Cobain did commit suicide. He left a note in his own handwriting and stuff. But fans were like, no, he was actually murdered because there's no way he could have done the thing that he did, and it was a shotgun and blah 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 blah. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that it turned out he unfortunately just committed suicide. Dude was super tormented, so I mean, it kind of added up. But there was really not a lot of reason to. Yeah, anyway.
Wait. Titus said she was gurning her jaw off, much more than usual.
Titus said you looked pretty high.
Oh, yeah. I did one of his lines, just to clear my head.
Okay.
Did you hear or see the shooter in the course of this?
No,
What did you do then?
nothing. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room downstairs. I got some clothes on and crawled back up, drew the blinds. Blood was coming from his mouth. Not a lot, just a little. He was still on the floor, slouched. I couldn't be there with him anymore, so I ran down and out of my room, into the hallway, down the stairs. I knew there would be people there.
Run, woman. Run past them and out into the streets where it's dark and people move. To the lorries at the intersection, as far as you can.
Why didn't you run away from here? As a matter of fact, why are you here now?
I already ran. I ran from an entire Isola. I can't run any further. Not with these people. This is as far as it gets.
What happened after you ran downstairs?
Sylvie was tending the bar. A lot of people were there.
Oh.
The Hardys were at the table in front of the stage. I think the union box was full.
We're back to Sylvie. Sylvie mysteriously quit her job right before we got here.
Ruby was there too. They were having such a good time.
Ruby?
I sat down and they all welcomed me. I didn't even have to say anything. Ruby knew something was wrong.
Ruby?
Before we continue, who is Ruby?
Ruby. You know, the leader.
Excuse me?
The leader? Of what?
Of the Hardy Boys?
The Hardy Boys.
Oh, shit! Okay. I thought Hardy was the leader of the Hardy Boys.
Well, nominally, yes. Ruby's the one they go to when things happen, like things they need taken care of. She's the organizer.
How are these two groups not thinking that we're not going to get the details they're not telling us?
Well, Ruby said let's talk upstairs. I showed her the room. I've known these people since December. They know my situation.
Twist and turns,
can't
baby.
keep her
I know,
down.
right?
Ruby was the first one I told. She said she'd take care of this. It's what she does, you know, take care of things. I helped her get the body to the bathroom. We used a belt to pull him up under the shower, to keep him upright.
To produce lividity, matching a hanging?
Yes.
We completely missed the tampering. Looks like you got there in time. What was this, 20 minutes after death?
Oops.
Whoops.
About 20, yes. Ruby explained it would make the blood... You know what he does.
So, funny enough, what that probably means is that we missed a hidden check during the autopsy. And that was visual calculus being like, yeah, we didn't get that. That would have been good to know. Then what did you do?
Ruby went outside to talk
Oops.
to Titus and the boys. I was just looking at Lely in the bathroom. I had to put his clothes back on. His armor, too. It was tough,
Ugh.
but I've seen him take it off and put it on many times.
Thanks for exposing me to this game, says MFX. Dude, it is my absolute pleasure. I hope your playthrough is as enjoyable as mine.
It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come back with Titus. I'd gotten him ready by then. They carried him out. I knew what they were going to do. Make it look like a hanging. Ruby said they would.
I hope we could just walk down to Titus and just look him in the eye and be like, Ruby. Like, come on, dude. Get with it. What did you do while they were hanging him?
Ruby said to wait here. She also said I wouldn't see her for a while. That we should lay low or something. So I did.
This Ruby, where is this Ruby now?
I don't know. I haven't seen her since.
We will need to take this question to the Hardy Boys.
When it happened, did you hear a gunshot?
When he was shot? I may have. I don't know. I couldn't hear anything over the glass exploding.
Okay, this is weird to ask, but maybe it'll throw her off and it'll show us something else. Did you kill Lely?
What? Why would I put myself through this? Insanity. Get myself cornered like this.
Okay, anger is a relatively natural response to that question.
He wouldn't have died if it weren't for me. I know that. But I would never hurt him.
I know that from CSI. Okay. Downstairs people have this crazy idea that you killed him.
I'm sad to hear that. They must have said it in some fit of frustration or under pressure. They couldn't have meant it. I've talked to them after it happened. No one has implicated me.
Weird she would say that. Glass exploded? I thought you said there was a hole in the glass. What's going on? Oh, well, I think she meant it shattered. The glass can still kind of shatter with a hole in it without, like, exploding. But, yeah. We know it was replaced.
She's getting scared now of you, the downstairs people, all of it.
It's okay if you did it in self-defense.
I did not kill him to defend myself from rape. I told you before.
That's not what
That wasn't what happened.
Not what I said.
True, sire. 'Tis true.
Yeah, I don't believe you at all. I'd like you to answer some other questions, miss.
Like what?
Could the people after you have killed him?
That's the first thing that went through my head when I heard the glass break.
And?
I thought they'd found me. They've killed him to punish me. All last week, I've tried not to talk to anyone or be seen with anyone so they wouldn't be hurt. I've come to understand, however, this is paranoia. What happened didn't have anything to do with me.
Either way, something to consider.
We can't go after loose cap. Not yet. There are other, saner leads.
I don't ask you to, Lieutenant. If there's one thing I know, it's that you'll get nothing from there.
Why did you call the cops if you're hiding?
Because I'm an idiot.
Which is an indicator of truth.
I don't think so. Why did you do it?
You have to understand, the people around here, no one was making the call, and he kept rotting. And then they picked his clothes off, and that little fucker threw stones at him.
Kuno. Oh, man.
Her jaw is clenched. Her throat moves. It takes all her strength not to cave in and sob. Once. Just one time.
He kept throwing stones at him for 3 days. I could hear the thud. Thud. So I called you. I hope with all my heart it's not the last thing I do in Ravishol.
She definitely called the cops. That was task complete. It could not have been a lie. That is impossible.
You liar.
Oh God. That was a lie too. Who made the call?
When was the window changed?
Last week, Angus and Titus's brother, I think he's called Tibbs, took care of it.
You should have another look at that window after this. Reconstruct the scene. It's right there.
In her bedroom inside?
Yes, you see the glass sparkling out of the corner of your eye.
I think we're done here for now.
She nods, silently. She doesn't even smoke. Just picks up the cold coffee and holds it in her hands. He's thinking, are we done here? Or should we arrest her? She's a flight risk and no, that won't be necessary. Just leave her alone. She's been through enough.
Oh, God.
She doesn't need this police brutality.
Oh, God. I was gonna leave her, but now that Drama's telling me this, now that we know one of my compromised aspects is telling me to leave her.
This guy won't budge. You have to wake Multiface up, forcefully, if you want to continue pushing her.
In God's name, wake up!
But we are awake, sire. She has been forthcoming with sordid details women usually conceal. Most shocking details of the sexual kind. We are a bulwark, unbreached. You've been breached, bulwark. You've been breached like 1,000 times now. So you say, but give us one example of deceit. Just one example.
I remember doubting she made the call she said to make to the police.